Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC Movie News.
Oh, Mikey Christmas. Welcome back to DC.
Roxy Stryer. Here we are. Look at me. I got headphones on. I'm like professional.
The closest I get to touching anybody right now is the once a week on Fridays on the Popcorn Talk Network at 1 p.m. Pacific time when I put my fist out there and you put your fist back. That is the most human contact I have had in 3 weeks, Mikey Christmas.
Roxy, I gotta say, thinking about this, like I'm in the podcast world and whatnot, but that's your life, you know. This is your thing. I dip my toe in it. My connection is more like through the screen to people on like that I don't ever see and can't talk to.
You're a big time actor. We know.
No, I'm not that. I didn't say big time actor. I'm like a little tier actor. But yours, this has got to be like, and for you and like all of our friends in our circles, this has got to be like, I watched SCN the other day, and Christian and Brett, I think they're going crazy. They're going stir crazy. Like, It's so crazy. So you guys, this is a big adjustment for.
I don't feel bad for either of them because they have families they live with. This is the solo dolo Roxy train. But honestly, I am so grateful that during this time we are considered essential workers as podcasters. Yeah. So we are still up and running. And thank you to all of the amazing people at our sister company, AfterBuzz TV, for doing still 100+ shows every single week. To our amazing producer, Ryan, who's with us right now, who is killing it, producing so many shows every single day.
Y'all. Thank you.
So thank you to Ryan, and thank you to all you guys for still staying here with us. And during this very uncertain and strange time of quarantine, where we know we have fans not just across the United States, but across the globe, we're so grateful that you are spending this time with us right now. And it's the thing that keeps us going. So thank you for being here on DC Movie News today. We've got more delays going on, Mikey Christmas. More delays in the world of DC.
Yeah, it does seem like that, huh? I mean,
that's what the news is right now. The news is, we can't talk about, things that are shooting right now because nothing's shooting. We can't talk about things that are on the big screen right now because cinemas are closed. So usually the news right now is going to be delays, but also we do have some fun stuff to talk about because it is the 4th year of a movie that Mikey loves very much. So, we'll talk about that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's 4. I don't actually remember. You do love the movie, Mike? Do you? What?
Absolutely love the movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. You've talked about it for the last 4 years. Legitimately 4 years.
Ad nauseum.
Okay. Yeah, I know. But in a good way. Our fans love that you love that movie, and I like it fine. So we will be talking about that as well. But let's get right into it because Wonder Woman 1984 was delayed, but this is one of the movies that was delayed to a time that feels relatively uncertain still, considering that it's moving from June 5th to August 14th. Now, we know things as far out as July are getting pushed, like the Olympics. So what do you think about them moving this to the August 14th date? Is that too close to where we are now? Are you concerned they're going to have to push again? Or do you think that they're hedging their bets and that's a pretty safe bet?
I'm going off of the feeling in the world. Universal, which is the company I work for, we were supposed to come back April 1st. And then we got a letter from our executive saying we're coming back or tentatively the 19th is when we're going to come back.
Of April.
Major Eric Garcetti is now saying we should be prepared as Americans or as Californians in Los Angeles, Angelinos for 2 months from the time it happened. So we're 2 weeks into this right now. Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Like I've lost track of time. I think it was.
But you've also been social distancing for longer than we've been having the stay-at-home order. So it's hard to say how long people have been at home.
For me personally, I go off of the day my work told me, "Hey, we're not going to be open anymore," which was a Friday, which 2 weeks ago today. So for me, it's been 2 weeks that I've been. And I know some people don't consider it till like the Monday after that, which is like the where the state kind of went in full lockdown. But there's
Right.
parts of the country that aren't in lockdown right now. My girlfriend's family is in Texas, and there's still restaurants open. And I look
Arizona
at
as well.
I look at my home state where I grew up, Florida, and I just think they're a bunch of idiots. Like seeing all those parties, and they had a gay festival down there, and then of course a week later, 10 people tested positive that were in this group. And just like
Wait,
the sooner we do
are you
this,
saying that they had pride, or was there a separate?
there was
they
like a
had
gay LGBT party festival down there in Miami. Like
when
they're
in the last 2 weeks?
yeah, and like right, like I think it was like March 10th or something. But I was just like, and granted, it wasn't as serious as it was, but the spring break stuff that happened afterwards. So it's just like the sooner we lock down
The
and don't
spring
do
break
anything.
stuff is absurd. It's absurd.
And of course, they're testing positive now. And just to see, like, it's watching, like, I step outside and I'm like, we're in a movie right now. It is like those, Contagion movie where it's just like you watch it and it just goes and it just spreads, because the sooner we stop doing social distance, and I'm going stir crazy. I'm used to working 80 hours a week, 2-3 different jobs. I'm going stir crazy. I'm building this new damn thing.
Yeah, by the way, we will get to that because you got a sexy man behind you. We will speak about him.
But I got off the tangent, Roxy. I think that's being conservative with Warner Brothers. I mean, I think, and I hate to say this.
You think that's conservative?
I think what they're doing is, hey, let's hope that this thing is over by midsummer, so then it gives us a couple weeks till August to get people back into the thing. Because I think people are going to, whatever movie, when we finally say, whatever the president, I don't want to say him, whenever the powers that be, Farsi, the science expert, says, okay, we have flattened the curve, we need to get back to life. I think movie theaters are going to be insanely busy. So whatever movie hits that sweet spot of right around that time, I mean, I'm going to a movie. I got to get out and see a movie. I'm dying for movie popcorn right now. But I think August is being conservative.
Feel the same way.
Well, you never usually feel the same as me, Rock. So let's hear it.
Are you drinking your Coca-Cola with a straw?
Baby. I just called you baby. Ugh. Shannon's going to hear that and kill me. Ugh. Ugh.
You meant baby sister.
Yeah, baby sister. Rock, I got to keep these pearly whites white, so I use the straw. I don't like the soda hit my teeth, but I conserve my straws. I reuse my straws. I'm not I reuse my straws.
All right. Well,
Roxy, why do you disagree? Huh?
I disagree. You're talking about with the straw usage?
No, with the Wonder Woman movie and my conservative.
I knew what you were talking about. I disagree because about people going to the movie theaters. I think we're gonna see a very scared United States. I know that not in some parts of the country for sure, like you're talking about in Florida and Texas. I mentioned Arizona where they're not at stay-at-home orders, and they would go to the movies right now if the movies were open. Sure. But I do think that for, like we've talked about, Wonder Woman being a four quadrant film, you're not going to see that 65 up going to the movie theaters. And if they are going to the movie theaters right after, they're not safe. So I think we're going to try to convince them not to. We're not going to see people who are at risk because of other issues, diseases, heart disease, immunocompromised diseases going to the movie theaters. And that's actually a very large chunk of our population.
My parents, and it's weird to think about it. Like my parents are, I think 70, like around 7 years old. And I was like, oh, I don't think of my parents as elderly.
Yeah.
Because they're very active. My mom's retired for a while. She was a nurse, but my dad just retired. And his company kept pushing him to not retire. Like he was going to do it at 65. And now they're both retired. But I don't think of them as elderly. But my parents go to the movies at least once a week. Well, they love going to movies.
It was challenging because when this first came out, they said people over 80 are compromised. And then it went to 65. And that was put in obviously a huge chunk more people. But before you go further, I do want to give probably the most important shout out of the day, if not of the entire month, that we will give to anybody on this show. And that is to somebody in the chat right now who deserves our love, our attention, our affection. He can be called baby all we want. It is Johnny LaQuasto in the chat.
Hey, Johnny boy.
Johnny, we love you. He says, just here as a fan of my friends whom I miss. We love Johnny. I think that when you say conservative, I thought you meant the opposite, because conservative to me sounds like it definitely will be able to air in August. Maybe they
Oh
couldn't have
no,
put it
no,
in
I meant
July, but you mean the opposite. You mean that they're
I meant they're
trying to
playing it
they're
safe.
trying to make sure that they can be there. But for me, I don't I don't know that movie theaters will be open in August.
I
I
don't either,
do.
but I don't think they would have said. I don't think they would have either said September, October. They weren't going to do that. So
Well, they
August was
couldn't
the month
because
that
of
they
their
could.
Warner Brothers slate. Their Warner Brothers slate, we went through it. The only date that they really could have done something was this date, if they didn't want to push some of their other projects. So I think that they're trying to do what they can optimistically and hoping that that works. And I do think that Wonder Woman would do well still at that time, but I don't think it would do as well, of course, if we weren't in a crisis. Because if people think that this isn't still going to be affecting our country in August, they are sorely mistaken. Because we don't even,
Yeah,
they say that we're not going to be at the peak of this for another 22 days at the earliest, or possibly until July. So if this peaks in July, in August, you think that I just don't see it going down very well. But it is a movie of life and hope and light. And I do think, not that I've seen it, but knowing what Wonder Woman stands for
right.
and love, and
Yeah,
I do think it is a great first movie going experience out of all of this darkness. But it's going to be tough. I won't recommend
I don't.
people go see it if they are it, elderly. I won't.
Yeah, I get that, and I think, but there's never going to be okay. This is the date, and the country goes back to going out. It's not going to happen. This is going to be. This has changed our lives. It's going to change our life forever.
Right.
Like 9/11, like what we go through to get through security, that has changed our lives. And
Mhm.
it's an inconvenience, but it's something we deal with. One thing
Yeah.
I do
Right
think
now,
it's not going to happen, and I hate to say this. What's up,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Roxy? There. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I hate to say, and I know it's going to happen, and I'm surprised they haven't pulled the gun yet on it, is Comic-Con is going to be canceled. And I hate to think this. There's just no way. That is a petri dish of
Well, not only
it's
that,
not
but they
happening.
would, in April is when the lottery would be for hotels. So they're
Yeah.
going to have to tell us by then, because otherwise they're going to have an issue on their hands. So I
Either
agree.
that, or they're going to scramble. But I think the reason we have, like, the Olympics are canceled. The reason I don't think Comic Con has done this yet,
Postponed.
postpone. The reason I don't think Comic Con is going to do this is because this is going to affect San Diego incredibly. The amount of money they make in that 5-day period, every business, hotels, restaurants,
Right.
supermarkets, the Uber market, it's gonna that's gonna be a massive thing for that industry in that town. So I think they're kind of waiting to see. I mean, there's going to come a time very soon where they're going to have to make that announcement, because people
Yeah.
can't get out because of air travel, and I don't know. That's a whole nother ball of wax that I'm sure that's you know.
I
uh,
wonder if they're thinking about doing a smaller convention or panels with casts and broadcasting them and not having it be live. I mean, there's probably right
You're
now they're probably
100%
going
right.
through their list of options. Obviously, that's not the same as the energy in the room when everybody is there, but they're probably right now trying to figure out what can we do to save face? How can we make this still work and still be an event that people are looking forward to?
Right.
I
Yeah.
saw that James Corden is doing, did you see this about Home Fest? You see
No.
this? James Corden is running a music festival from his garage, broadcast to
Hey.
everybody with like massive, massive acts. Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, Will Ferrell's going to be there with him. Like he's doing a massive thing. And so I think that people are right now trying to use their creative brains for how they can still make these work. And same thing, I have one of my closest friends does events for a major, major studio. She runs their events. And she's been telling me, because we cannot do premieres right now. And this is a company that has a big digital branch. She said, because we cannot do premieres right now, we're having to think outside the box. How do we market this? How do we get the stars to still, is it live streams, watch along? So I think for DC stuff, they're thinking about the exact same thing right now. How do we market our stuff? How do we make sure it's still a spectacle? What do we do with Wonder Woman if in fact, we have to push for a second time. So I don't envy these people because they're having to make really big decisions that
Well,
could
here's the
have
thing. I mean,
financial
here,
impact of
Rox,
millions.
okay, I think what's going to happen then, if they can't hit their date, which I don't know, I think DC's entire film slate is going to shift. I think
Mhm.
Wonder Woman will probably get Batman's release date. Batman might move to Suicide Squad. I think, well, Suicide Squad is
Batman is
done.
June
Batman is
2021.
not.
What?
Yeah, but Suicide Squad is August.
Mhm.
I think Batman is not, because they only filmed for what, a month maybe. Batman is
Yeah.
not close to being done. Suicide Squad is done. They're in post production, so that fortunately is people that can work from home,
Mhm.
editing, score, special effects. That's everything that can be done from computers at home. So Suicide Squad could be ready to go. I think Wonder Woman will push for Batman's date. Suicide Squad will still hit their date, and the Batman is what's going to then have to move as well. Because unless
And
they padded Batman with a very heavy, or these films like Batman, unless all the special effects, but I don't know, they didn't film much, so they can't be working on too much special effects. Like,
I think I
you
know what
know,
your answer is, Mike. I think I know, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
okay,
Is there
okay,
any chance there is a correlation between Batman and the Suicide Squad in which the Batman needs to premiere before the Suicide Squad does?
no, that's my thought. They're completely separate things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
agree with
they're
that.
independent, and I think, and luckily, we talk about everyone wanted DC to have a connective tissue like the MCU does, and now it helps them. It really helps them that these films
Right.
are not. You have to see one to go to the next, and I think that's where Marvel is. I think
Yeah.
they lucked out with Black Widow, because Black Widow is between
Standalone.
Civil War and Infinity War. They lucked
Mm.
out very heavily with that, so I think their slate is gonna push back as well. Their slate is,
Hmm.
because they're filming Eternals. Shang-Chi has only been filming for a little while, but I think DC's in a good position. I think that slate, if we don't hit, well, okay, what do we say? What does WB have at the holiday season? What was their big Christmas release?
I
Do we
can look it
know?
up. We talked about it last
Yeah, look
week,
it up.
but
I know. I completely forgot. It's not Tenant. That's the summer. I was trying to think, because Wonder Woman, if they don't, if Wonder Woman doesn't hit their August date or a Christmas area date, they're pushing to next summer.
okay. So what we
Yeah.
have the end of 2020, they've got Godzilla versus Kong, which is November.
Oh. But
Um,
there's been, that thing's been pushed back so many times, and not like Wonder Woman where it was like it's filmed. We just want to get a
they
good
also
date,
have Dune in December.
and we haven't seen anything from that either. Those are two films we've not seen anything from, trailer wise, to build to hype it. So I think Wonder Woman, those could be pushed, and Wonder Woman. I think
To
WB's
me,
entire
Wonder Woman
slate
is
could be
such I want Wonder Woman to be a summer movie so bad though. To me, it's just I love I I know that Aquaman did incredibly well in
yeah.
that spot. And so I'm not saying Wonder Woman wouldn't do as well, but just to me, the light, the love, the joy, the fun.
I agree, Rox.
But
I'm with you.
I do understand what you're saying, that especially because Dune is so uncertain for them, whether this is
Right,
going to be a financial success or not. And
right,
Godzilla
and
versus Kong, I don't think needs
see,
it's their November movie, but
I think
I do
with
think that they
Godzilla
could
versus
keep.
Kong,
Mhm.
Godzilla versus Kong, like they were trying to build a monster universe with Godzilla. Kong did okay, and then what was it? Gods of Monsters did not do what they wanted, but they were so far in the gun already on this film. I think that film could use all the work it could get to be pushed.
Well,
What a
I don't
woman.
even know that it would need to, Mike, because I do think that probably the smart thing for them to do would be then ultimately to keep Godzilla versus Kong at that November 20th date, bump Dune from their December 18th date, unless the reason that it's there is it's trying to make some kind of Oscars push. But I think you could really move Dune to a lot of different dates and give Wonder Woman that December 18th date. Wonder Woman would
I
probably
agree.
slay during that day.
Oh my God, Wonder
Uh,
Woman would kill. And if Disney doesn't have anything big, like Disney has Eternals, that's getting pushed because Black Widow will take whatever we're going to take eventually.
yeah.
If there's no Marvel film around Christmas and DC takes advantage of that and does Wonder Woman will kill at that time.
Yeah, I agree. I do want to move on though to talk
Let's move on.
about director of Wonder Woman, of course, Patty Jenkins was talking
Oh
about
God, I love
Thor
her.
2. You know, it's been a while since she turned down Thor 2, but this is what she had to say about it recently when talking to Vanity Fair. I did
Okay.
not believe that I could make a good movie out of the script that they were planning on doing. I
No
think
crap.
it would have been a huge deal. It would have looked like it was my fault. It would have looked like, oh my God, this woman directed it and she missed all these things. That was the one time in my career where I really felt like, do this with another director and it's not going to be a big deal. And maybe they'll understand it and love it more than I do. You can't do movies you don't believe in. The only reason to do it would be to prove to people that I could, but it wouldn't have proved anything if I didn't succeed. I don't think that I would have gotten another chance. And so I'm super grateful. Perfect answer. Perfect answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, she and I read somewhere like she was telling me she didn't tell me. She was telling, I think it's in that same article where she said her take was much more of like a Romeo and Juliet space opera. Like that's what she had like, threads or shades of it. And then that script did not work. I think for Marvel films, I think they look for what I guess I call journeyman directors. These filmmakers, and Taika Waititi is of course different, but they look for filmmakers that the train has already left the station with those films, so they want a director that can come in, is competent. Um, I look at this. If Black Widow's going to come out, I just had to, I didn't realize, I didn't know who was directing it, who it was, what she had done before, and that's interesting that a studio doesn't hype the directors. You know,
I lost you a little bit there, Mikey.
Anna
You
Boden and Ryan Fleck, Marvel, they did afterwards. I kiddo. That's all right. I was just going off on a rant. That's all right.
No, I think you were saying the studio's not hyping them, and I agree that they
Yeah,
have not
like
done.
Kate. This girl's name is Kate Shortland that did Black Widow. I had no idea who this was, or even if who was directing it. But
Yeah.
that's every studio always touts the directors. Marvel doesn't do that because there are a filmmaking, and that's to speak
It's
to
a
the point.
machine. It's more of a machine.
There was, I forgot her name. They wanted to bring her for Black Widow, and she says, "Guys, I don't do action very well." And they said, "Don't worry about this. We got people that take care of the action." So that's basically saying, "Hey, our second stunt people, we've got that covered." And she's like, "No, it's my movie. I want to direct everything about it. I'm
Yeah.
out." So
Mhm.
Marvel does what they do very well, but they also are a machine that runs it, and I think Patty Jenkins is like, "I ain't part of this. And if it goes wrong, I'm going to take the blame for it."
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, I
So
agree. I think it was a smart move. Hindsight is 2020, obviously, but she made the right choice.
absolutely.
Speaking of right choices, we've talked about the fact that Birds of Prey did drop on VOD, so you can watch it now, which is smart that they did that.
Yeah.
And Kathy
Oh,
Ann held a Birds of Prey watch along party on Twitter, apparently.
I
Uh, what?
I was reading an article on Birds of Prey they were talking about, and Kathy Ann was talking about it, about being released right now. And she was saying some of the stuff that didn't make the cut. Oh my God. She said, she said, there's certain things we were pushing for an R rating. In the fight scene in the police precinct, there were some added items that she was going to fight, Harley Quinn was going to fight with. And one of which was I think it said like a stuffed teddy bear filled with cocaine. And then this was the best thing I've ever heard that I'm so upset it was never in the film. She was going to end up fighting with a double-headed dildo. Can you imagine that fight scene with one of those giant rubbery, like,
Oh my God.
fighting people and
I'm
the stunt
so
guys in their
upset that
face
that
and going
wasn't
like
there.
people's faces and taking the guy's faces like, like when I heard that, what a missed opportunity. I mean, I'm great that probably would have borderline X-rated, but how perfect does that fit the film?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I heard that and I was like, that was so brilliant and so it's something that I miss, and I'm like, oh my God, it was miracle.
Maybe if
But
we ever get a second one, which I
maybe
don't know,
I don't
maybe.
think that ain't happening.
Oh, we have to move on to a
Let's
little
move
bit
on.
of TV
All
time.
right, what do we got?
Time for Roxy's Drives TV time. You sing the rest of it. Yeah.
There, oh,
Okay.
Ryan's
Well,
coming in.
you guys know the song.
Yeah.
A show that is going to be airing on all of the DC platforms and already had a little bit of a confusing schedule. Stargirl, its premiere was delayed. It was originally set to premiere on DC Universe streaming service on Monday, May 11th. The series will now premiere on Monday, May 18th on DC Universe before airing on the CW on Tuesday, May 19th. So first DC Universe, then CW the next day. No official reason was given why the delay,
Right.
but obviously there's a lot of delays in TV production now, so that might have caused it. But interesting that it's pushed back a week. Mikey, what do you make of this?
Well, Rox, I was going to ask your opinion. You're the TV guru. I've noticed they announced the Flash premiere is being pushed back. I'm curious because I would think
the premiere,
the finale. I'm sorry, the finale. And maybe, like, I know Stargirl, that's finished. Like, I guess Flash might be there in post-production and they're just they can't work on things. I'm very curious what your thoughts on.
They seem to, CW, DC shows, and I think DC Universe taking their lead, seems to have their own weird-ass explanation for the airing of their shows always. You know, there's many times throughout the season where they take a week off or 2 weeks off, or two of the shows will be gone for 1 week and then the other two will switch being gone the next week. They must have done, obviously there's a reason for it. They must have some algorithm talking about when this amount of shows and episodes are back to back, then the more viewership that goes through for the next thing. I think it has to do with the other shows and everything combined. Possibly just trying to get a little distance between now and then as well. But yeah, I think it's a weird move to push something a week. And I don't really
I will
know
say
what to
this.
think of it.
I don't know if do we have it in the rundown? I have the rundown in front of me, Rox. Are we talk about what Jeff Johns said about Stargirl?
No, what did he say? I didn't see this.
It was interesting because I didn't know this. He had a sister that died in a plane crash.
Jeff Johns did.
Right before he wrote Stargirl, and he based Stargirl on his sister. I had no idea about this.
I didn't know that. Oh,
for him, he was saying that this of all projects is most. I think.
What a tragic moment for him to freeze up there.
I know. So when I can't hear him, sorry, Mike, you just majorly broke up.
Oh, sorry.
Not a great moment for us to lose you. So you said this is the project that to Jeff Johns is the most important.
Yeah, and like I said, I think he created Stargirl. I take that back in the 2000s, not the 90s. But I think this was his first project with DC. He was saying, because it's all the character, and her name's Courtney, right? Courtney, I don't know her last name, but I think his sister's name was Courtney, and he was basing it completely on her. So I had no idea about this. I'm excited for Stargirl. It's so funny because I know DC Universe gets a lot of flack sometimes, but right now that app is keeping me going. And again, I'm not paid to say this, guys. I don't get free DC Universe. The comics I'm reading, I've just binge watching all of Batman the Animated Series because of this app, and now Stargirl. I'm very excited for Stargirl, and now this kind of personal connection that he's got for her is just kind of makes
Courtney Elizabeth Whitmore.
Yeah, his sister's name was Courtney, and I didn't know she died in a plane crash.
I didn't know that either.
Right before.
That's devastating. Wow. Yeah. I am looking forward to the series. I just am still confused on DC's rollout plan of putting this on DC Universe and then putting it on CW, and then DC Universe being something that's possibly going to go to HBO Max the same way that the Doom Patrol and Titans shows that are going on DC Universe are going to go to HBO or vice versa.
Have they announced that though? Because I don't remember hearing anything about it. I think we've assuming it's going to the HBO Max.
No, but we do know that that Doom Patrol is going to, or was it Titans that's going to HBO Max? One of them is airing there first.
I think what DC's doing is, I would assume maybe with Stargirl going, hey, you guys watch these shows on CW, watch this. This is what else we've got on the DC Universe app. So if you're not on board, come on board. This is what we got. I don't know.
Though, if you think about at least the shows that I have watched on the DC app, Swamp Thing, Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, Titans, and Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah.
Tonally speaking, if none of those shows could air on CW.
Titans couldn't?
I don't think so.
I know Doom Patrol couldn't.
I think you don't remember what? Fuck Batman.
Well, you cut that one part out. You could edit it. That's what I'm saying. There's editable things.
You could edit it. So I guess maybe that's what they'll do. But also talking about what you were speaking about before with the delays, The Flash isn't the only CW show. I guess Supernatural and Legacies were also delayed to the pandemic. So like I'm talking about, I think CW has a whole if A moves to B, then B has to move to C because then D gets the viewership from E. Like they have a whole and it works for
D
them.
always gets the viewership.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. So it's definitely affecting all of CW.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, though, Mikey,
We got to leave?
well, we're going to leave in a few minutes. But before we get out of here, I want to spend a few minutes talking about a movie that you hate so much.
Oh, okay.
A movie that you struggle with, a movie that I don't know why you've never said one nice thing about it. That is BVS, of course. It is having its 4-year anniversary. And did that just get you? Did you just leave because I said that?
I just left and I scared the shit out of my dog. Poor guy.
Indy?
Yeah, he got scared.
Oh, man. So you do have a bat suit behind you.
I do.
Is this in honor of the 4-year anniversary? What
that Roxy is Mike Kalinwoski staying at home, not going out of his mind, building new things. And I built a new belt. I got some inspiration for a new belt. So I built a new belt.
It's kind of dope looking.
I built a new cape attachment. I had it attached with some just Velcro straps that kind of went under this armor piece right here. But I put in clips so I can unclip it, like a squeeze like this, and the cape drops off.
Work.
I'm just keeping from going stir crazy. So building and this and that.
All right. Well, anything have you
BBS?
watched BBS when trying to keep from going crazy at all?
Not recently, because
you even saw it.
For BBS, I saw it right before my match against Rachel for the IG over the summer.
For Schmoedown.
Yeah. So last probably I'd say July I watched it, or actually I might have watched it before that because I get match against Kevin Smets in December. That for me is not a feel good movie, so I'm not going to watch it right now. But it's interesting. Screen Rant did a really good article about the importance of
Screen Rant did a good article about the importance of BBS. Let's see if we can guess what he was going to say, Ryan.
I think he was going to say Screen Rant is
and its
reliable.
Ability to make belts on all of the Batman, and also I'm Mike Kalinwoski. I love Christmas.
Oh,
Mike,
back.
what did you just say?
Oh, you can hear me?
Now
I hear you.
I even moved my router closer to the TV. I'm sorry, guys.
What did you say? You said on the importance
of it in the comic book industry as far as filmmaking goes and what the choices they make. Because if you watch that film, they talk about stuff like the whole Jimmy Olsen and being the CIA and framing Superman for a third world party, a third world nation's turmoil and strife with the CIA. They talk about illegal aliens and their roles in the world. It is incredibly they have so many. And I think this is a problem that a lot of people have. And the article does mention this. This movie tried to do so much and it was coming right after Civil War, which was kind of this fun. Yes, it was dealing with the Avengers breaking up, but it was fun with the airport battle, and it was so much fun. And I love Civil War, but this is a very dour film dealing with race, immigration, the government overstepping its bounds. Like look at Luthor and Bruce Wayne being these billionaires that think that they can solve everything with their money. It's stuff we're dealing with now. It's and to do what Lex Luthor and Jesse Eisenberg has been talking recently, he loved doing the character. He would absolutely love to revisit Luthor. I think this movie was ahead of its time. And I've said this, here we are 4 years later.
Ryan is saying to us, I think BVS before Civil War, neither here nor there. Thank you, Ryan.
We should. Oh, you're right. It was March. You're right. I'm sorry. Good call, Ryan. But I think BVS, and look at this right now. No one talks about the other comic movies that came out in 2016. People still talk about BVS. And I've said this before, and I said it back 4 years ago. BVS will be the Blade Runner of our kind of zeitgeist generation. 20 years from now, people will still talk about that film. I honestly think it will, because there are people that love it, and it just, if BVS came, if there was no, let me say this, if there's no MCU and the way that we're used to building a universe to go from point A to point B to point C, and this film just came out and stood on its own, I think it would have a completely different reaction for people. I think we were trained to view superhero films a certain way. And it just didn't do that. And I love it for what it does. Again, I would rather put in Civil War. I watched Civil War more than I've watched BVS. Absolutely, hands down, because it's a fun movie. I enjoy it. BVS, I watch out. I can't just pop it in and just watch it. It's a film to sit down and I take it all in and whatever.
All right. Well, I think that time will tell with this one. I haven't watched BVS in, as I said to you, in 3 years now. There are parts of it that I love, and there are parts of it that I don't. I know that it's over talked about, but the Martha stuff does not land for me. It does not. And that's a bummer. In the same way that, when I think about Man of Steel, I always talk about the dog stuff just not landing for me, just not working for me. So there are those moments that keep me from loving the movie,
Well-
but I have to acknowledge that there are some incredible things that movie does. And
You have a cold heart, Roxy. That's why.
on that note, Mikey. let's get
Oh,
outta here.
Roxy. That's
No,
it?
we got to
Really?
get out of here anyway. We're leaving. There was a push-up contest that was shared. Thank you to Zack Snyder. He shared a push-up contest of Ben Affleck on the set of BVS.
Oh, I saw that.
That was pretty cool. So you guys check that out. I don't even know if we have the ability to roll in video here.
Is there? I thought,
I don't know. I know.
did he post another picture from Justice League? I think he did recently on his
I'm
Vero.
sure he did.
Hey, WB, if you're listening, now's the time to release that.
I know.
There's no films out. Just think about that. Now is the time. Zack Snyder's in a
Release the
room.
Snyder cut.
Do it now. The filmmakers that need the visual effects, they're quarantined. Release that film. Charge $20. There you go. Problem solved.
Mikey Christmas solving all problems.
That's what I'm doing here.
Mike, where can everybody keep up with you? I know that you still are not on that Twitter life. It's free Mikey Christmas.
Guys,
Free
if you
Mikey
can,
Christmas.
tweet out at Twitter support, hashtag, or put my name in there at Mike Kalinwoski. In the meantime, I'm going to try and build up my Instagram. So if you guys can help me out with that, it's at Mike Kalinwoski as well. I've got like 4,000 followers, but that's my fault. I always focused on Twitter, not Instagram as much. So I think maybe now I might need to switch. I think I might start doing some live chats, some more Q&A on that, like you do all the time, Rox, to kind of build that, but also interact with you guys. I'm missing the interaction with you guys on Twitter that I usually get. So I might switch to Instagram and just kind of do more Q&A and videos on that. But I'm in Twitter jail still, so I'm sorry, guys. But
we kept Johnny LaQuasto for this entire time. He's still in here loving us. Do you know that?
Hey, Johnny, you're not one of those dummies in Florida right now, are you, at the beach? Don't be that guy, Johnny. Don't be that guy.
He would never be that guy.
I
Are
hope
you kidding?
not. But you know him; he always wants to help people. So
Yeah, but that's why he wouldn't be at the beach.
But he's probably out there trying to help people that are sick.
On people.
Hey, Johnny's on the beach going, guys, come on, we can't do this. Get inside, please. I'm a medical professional.
All right, everybody go follow Mike on Instagram. Is it just at Mike Kalinwoski, did you say?
It's at Mike Kalinwoski. It's the same picture as my Twitter handle, so it's all the same.
I'm everywhere at Roxy Stryer. I will be live streaming here on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roxy Stryer, today at 2:30. So go check me out there. Other than Fridays when I go after the show, I am live every single day at 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. every day except for Fridays where I go live after DC Movie News. We love you guys a lot. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Ryan, our amazing producer, the entire Popcorn Talk, AfterBuzz, and Black Hollywood Live staff. You guys rock. All of you fans out there, Johnny LaQuasto for staying here, who says I'm avoiding all beaches, but still willing to help anyone.
See, of course he is. Of course he is.
All right, we'll see you guys next time on DC Movie News.
Bye, guys.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.